Look at this. This is a brand new record. Has never been done before. There are 40 million Bitcoin addresses in profit. Most of you guys, if you stuck with DCAing and holding Bitcoin, you would be in the green right now. Most of you guys should be in the green. Last time I showed this, it was about 80%. 80+% should be in the green already. But now with the growing number of addresses, we formed a new record. That's amazing. And we keep forming new records. Records are meant to be broken. But when it comes to an asset like Bitcoin, this is how you measure the strength. This is how I know how I have so much conviction and faith in Bitcoin. While others are paying attention to what the lines say, I pay attention to the fundamentals, which happens to get stronger seemingly every single week. Every time I measure and look at things like addresses or the hash rate or the number of Bitcoins on the exchanges, right? Like these kind of things that you measure the strength of Bitcoin continues to get stronger and break through and make new highs. All right. Now, what's this massive indicator? This is really simple, and I've shown this before, but it's staggering. If you look at the HODL Waves, you look at this, the number of Bitcoin being held is at an all-time high. 88.5% of the supply has not moved in 3 months. Think about that. Close to 90% of all the Bitcoins out there in existence has not moved in 3 months. Now, if you expand that out to, say, a year, it drops down to about like 75%, but still, it's enormous amount. No one holding Bitcoin at this point really wants to sell. They're not taking profits at this point. They're only adding more to their portfolio. These people that have been holding for years upon years upon years, their conviction is only getting stronger. So, I mean, if you just think about it for a second, if you just try to compute, like if this was any other asset on the planet, let's just equate this to gold. If you had 100% like proof that 90% of gold was being held and not being used and sold or being, made into jewelry or anything like that, think about how high gold's price would go, right? It would be the same thing with oil. It would be the same thing with copper. It would be the same thing with any kind of commodity or any kind of precious metal. So just think about that for a second, right? We could actually see this. We could actually measure it with Bitcoin because it's digital, right? 90% has not moved for like basically 3 months. And it's over 75% if you go back a year. That's an enormous amount being held by the holders. And of course, that is the reason why Bitcoin is so strong, why it has decoupled away from US markets, and why it looks like it's going to break out. And that breakout is imminent because there's just so much buying power right now and so little supply to go around. It's just so simple if you think about it. I am having a kickoff party in Vegas, December 14th. So if you guys want to come out and meet me and other influencers that are in the IFC, this is the spot to go. And not only that, Crowded Combat is going to be there. Their fighters are going to be there. I'm going to invite others in this space, other influencers, other projects. If you've been to one of my network parties before, it's going to be like that, but even bigger this time around. I have 3 different tickets. If you want to participate, you want to join, please do so. Use the code 25 off. You'll get $25 off. And for people that's been asking for a new NFT, if you go with the VIP program or ticket, you will get airdropped an exclusive I Am George NFT. That will be included. Make sure you check it out if you are interested. This is in Vegas. Remember, what goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas. And you get to check out all the fighters, all the other influencers, myself, and all the major projects will be there. It's going to be a good party, a good time. So check it out. But, if you're looking at charts are indicating good things too. Here's what I'm talking about, the golden cross on a daily chart. Golden and death crosses sometimes take a long time to happen. And after they happen, either very good or very bad things happen. You could see back in March or February of 2022 is when we formed that death cross. And we did not get out of it for an entire year. That death cross lasted an entire year. And then when we broke through, that's when it indicated we were out from bottom. We have formed, or we have moved into the new 4-year cycle, the new bull cycle. We had a little stint recently where we formed a death cross, but now we have come full circle, golden cross, and this one may last all the way until 2025. This one could go all the way. We may not have any more stops until the end of 2025. Golden crosses are good. 2 moving averages, a shorter one and a longer one. In this case, the 50 versus the 200. This is good. Bitcoin is about to go higher. Okay, you can see this bullish cross on the monthly scale. It just happened. It happened before. It almost looks like it's a halving event, right? So again, we're a little bit ahead of schedule, but we have formed that bullish cross on the monthly scale. And what happens when we form that bullish cross? I mean, just look at it. You could see what happens afterwards. So we have started that path. We're on our way. Of course, spot Bitcoin ETF, still a lot of enthusiasm about it. People found out that Invesco, which also is coming out with a Bitcoin spot ETF, their symbol has listed on a DTCC site, BTCO, right? So basically all the spot Bitcoin ETFs, all their symbols have been listed already. They're getting ready. They know. They've been working with SEC. They've been amending their application, which means they've gotten feedback already. It's looking good. It's looking real good. And we'll hint it again. There is a closed-door meeting by the SEC for resolution of litigation claims and institutional and settlement of administrative proceedings. So what does that mean? A lot of people think this means they're going to resolve this grayscale trust to ETF conversion. Basically, the court said you can't deny them with your past excuses. You have to come up with new excuses. And if you can't, you got to let them do it, right? And they have a limited amount of time to act. If they don't act, basically Grayscale wins and they can get it. So are we going to let Grayscale do this or not? And if we're not going to, we better come up with some good excuses that Grayscale can't sue us for and overturn. A lot of these big Wall Street analysts have predicted that Bitcoin can get a spot Bitcoin ETF approval before the end of the year, not beginning of next year, not before the halving event. That there's a real good chance it's going to get approved in November or December, right? But if it happens in November, that name, Pumpvember, will come to life, I guess. Will come into existence because we'll definitely see some massive pumps that come afterward.